Hey, this is Mark Shepard, compulsive singer songwriter, and today I want to talk about a couple of articles in AARP Journal and AARP Bulletin that my sister sent to me, and it's in what issue of this is. I don't see the issue, what issue it is, but anyway, it's the one with Ringo Starr on the cover. And Ringo Starr's energy and positivity are pretty much legendary. But this is the article that I want to talk about. The importance of music and the mind. And in the article, they talk about this professional piano player in New York City, Colin Huggins, who began playing music on the streets of New York using a battered upright piano he'd bought on Craigslist. He was a former accompanist. He formerly played with the American Ballet Theater, but playing and singing pop songs outdoors had convinced him of the almost mystical power of music to soothe, delight, and heal his fellow New Yorkers. So this guy began to push the piano all over the city of New York and eventually even down into the subway. And just miraculous things would happen. People that you'd think would never look at each other began to sing along. And one of the songs that was particularly profound was Hey Jude, which was written, I think, by Paul McCartney and, was credited with both McCartney and Lennon. But the point of the article is that music does something, and we don't quite know what it does, but it's really important. But the challenge I have is, as someone who writes new songs, I have just been struggling, and there's such a point of pain in my heart to not be able to get the music out. And I have said this before, and I'll probably say it again, that the neurology that creates songs, the neurology as an autistic person that feels things intensely. I mean, if someone feels something on a scale of 1 to 5, I'm feeling it on a 10. And things affect me, and the only way I can handle a lot of intense emotions is by singing about them. And a lot of my songs are really intense, and people almost seem embarrassed sometimes at how intensely emotional my music is. And particularly as a man, in our culture, men are not allowed to express emotions. Only women are, right? And it's interesting, there are far more successful female singer-songwriters, and this is not a statistical or scientifically accurate poll that I took, but it just seems to me that people are much more willing to listen to a woman singer-songwriter who they don't know yet or whose music they haven't bonded to than a man. A few exceptions are this guy named Foy Vance from Northern Ireland and another guy who calls himself Passenger. And those two Irish, or I don't know, one of them may be Scottish, I don't know, but they're Celtic singer-songwriters, and the Celtic tradition still seems to honor the words and people actually listening to the words. And it seems like, as a singer-songwriter, I want my music out in the world where it can do some good, where it can help people, where people can actually get some nourishment, some healing, some ministry from the words and music. And on days when I'm feeling discouraged, it feels like it's kind of pointless. But on days when I've kind of been working on my stuff and I have some time to reflect and time to make sure my thought process is where it needs to be, focusing on why things work out better than we can possibly imagine, on those days I feel like I live at the very best time to be alive as a singer-songwriter. And I also feel like my music will get out. My music will get out into the world. I have one song so far that is out in the world doing some good. Together We Could Change the World. It won a Posy Award The only time I could even get anybody to even nominate one of my songs for a Posy Award, and it was because it was sung by Riley O'Neill, not by me, which is hard to take sometimes, that no one seems to want to hear what I have to sing. No one seems to want to take my songs with them, right? And it's only because they don't know them. And in the past, in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and before that, songs were played on the radio, and that's the only music anybody had in their car. And so on car drives, you would, even if you were going long distance, you would constantly be looking for another radio station, and you would inadvertently have to hear songs. Some of them you didn't even like the first couple of times. Some songs that maybe you did like the first couple of times, but after the 10,000th time, you couldn't stand, but that song is still in your neurology. I don't seem to have access to that. In spite of all the technology we have, there's less and less opportunity for people to actually discover new music that's really good. So anyway, my sister sent me these two articles. This is from the AARP Bulletin. This one is called The Song That Changed Me. And there are specific songs that I've written that I credit with saving my life. Times when I was so depressed, so discouraged, so hurt, so alone, so wounded by yet another romantic relationship that didn't work out, where I felt like I was kind of just beat up and thrown to the side, or just never could do anything right or whatever. Those songs have saved my life. And I also know that those songs could save somebody else's life if I could only get somebody to listen. So music is powerful, people. Listen intentionally. Go on YouTube and start typing in new music. Type in new singer-songwriters. Check out my music if you haven't checked it out. I am just committed. I've committed my life, regardless of how little money I make. I've committed my life to recording here in my dad's garage. I've spent so much money over my lifetime on recording my music, recording CDs that no one ever bought, recording CDs that no one ever listened to, trying everything I could think of to move myself forward in a music career, and it just never, ever happened. And I am deeply grateful that my music can help me. And at the very least, writing these songs has saved my life so many times. And I want more. I want my songs to help you. I want my songs to help somebody else, somebody other than me, to hopefully get through that hard time, to transform those bad feelings into good feelings, to be able to maybe understand themselves a little bit better, to maybe be able to shift and transform a mood or a negative thinking process into something that is empowering and healing, hopeful, and open-hearted, where the mind and the heart can connect with the spirit, that mind-body connection thing. So this has been yet another exciting episode of Thoughts About Music. And if you have an open mind, please check out my songs. And if not, that's okay too. I'm just going to keep making them because I don't know what else to do. Peace, love, grooviness. May music touch your life today in a profoundly healing and healthy, transformational way. The end. Boom.